US Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheetle has resigned following the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump.
Rival Palestinian factions Hamas and Fatah have signed a unity agreement in Beijing.
European Parliament MEP Giuseppe Antocci warns against the existential threat of mafias to the European Union and its member states.
Each year, more travelers prefer to take their car on a train journey, as it drastically reduces carbon footprint and is less tiring for a summer holiday.
US Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheetle has resigned after scrutiny of security weaknesses related to the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. The resignation came as the internal government watchdog moved forward with investigations into the handling of Trump's protection. In a statement, President Joe Biden said he and First Lady Jill Biden are grateful for Cheetle's decades of public service.
Palestine's conflicting political factions, Hamas and Fatah, have signed an agreement in Beijing in which they vow to end division and strengthen Palestinian unity. The declaration was brokered by China following reconciliation talks between 14 different Palestinian groups, which began in the Chinese capital on Sunday. At a press conference on Tuesday, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Mao Ning outlined the details of the agreement.
实现涵盖所有派别的民族大团结。根据联合国有关决议，建立以耶路撒冷为首都的独立的巴勒斯坦国，坚持包括约旦河西岸、耶路撒冷和加沙在内的巴勒斯坦领土完整。表示将根据8个派共识，按照8现行基本法组建临时民族和解政府，开展加沙重建，并根据通过的选举法尽快筹备并举行大选。
Fatah and Hamas have been rivals since Hamas violently took control of Gaza in 2007. The Fatah-dominated Palestinian Authority currently administers parts of the occupied West Bank.
EU legal competitiveness was the main topic at an informal meeting of EU justice ministers in Budapest. The Hungarian Minister of Justice said Europe needs to be shaken up, not only economically speaking, but also in legal terms. EU legislation must underpin competitiveness, and the legislative process and legislation must be made more transparent. They also looked at the potential use of artificial intelligence in the field of law.
Ha valakinek van egy jogi problémája, akkor válaszként a mesterséges intelligencia rá tud mutatni, hogy melyik jogszabályt kell alkalmazni, milyen jogirodalom van a háttérben, mi a joggyakorlat, tehát komoly segítséget tud adni a jogászvilágnak.
Recently, several countries have sent their lower representatives rather than their ministers to these informal meetings in a show of protest against Viktor Orban and his divergent views on the war in Ukraine. On Monday, 10 out of 27 EU ministers attended the meeting of interior ministers. It is assumed that the numbers were similar on Tuesday.
A következő napokban az uniós egészségügyi minisztereknek szervez informális találkozót Budapesten a magyar soros elnökség. A külügyminiszterek tanácskozása viszont előreláthatólag Brüsszelben lesz. Kónya Rita, Euronews, Budapest.
Newly elected European Parliament lawmaker Giuseppe Antocci has warned against the existential threat of mafias to the European Union and its member states. To deal with this, Antocci called for a joint and coordinated response at the European level. As president of the Nebrodi Park in Sicily, Antocci devised a protocol to prevent money from European funds for agriculture from ending up in the hands of mafia clans. For this, he became an enemy of the mafia.
Diventare un nemico significa iniziare per prima cosa con le minacce, far capire che non devi andare avanti e se vai avanti arrivare, come si dice, fino all'ultimo miglio. Ciò è accaduto a maggio del 2016, dove io sono stato colpito dall'unico attentato di mafia dopo le stragi del 92. Io sono il primo uomo delle istituzioni che viene colpito con un'altra tentata strage. Insieme a me 4 valorosi uomini della Polizia di Stato che quella notte, dopo quel violento conflitto a fuoco, mi hanno salvato la vita e mi hanno riportato a casa da mia moglie e dalle mie figlie.
Elected to the European Chamber with Italy's leftist five-star movement, Giuseppe Antocci is among the MEPs who wander the corridors of the European Parliament with special police protection. He maintains an escort in Brussels and Strasbourg and will have an office with special security measures without any glass windows outside.
Io ho già proposto una risoluzione per l'istituzione della CRIM, la commissione che si occupa della criminalità organizzata. È stata istituita solo una volta in Parlamento europeo. Noi abbiamo idea che le mafie sono globalizzate, noi abbiamo idea che la criminalità organizzata è presente in tanti territori, in tanti stati europei.
Despite the constant fears, Antocci says stopping one of the major financing channels of organized crime in Italy was worth it.
Puoi morire in una strage di mafia come stava accadendo a me e quei valorosi poliziotti. Ci sarebbero state le commemorazioni, le lapidi, i ricordi, giusto così. Però sei morto una volta. Poi c'è un altro modo per morire, che è quello di alzarsi la mattina, guardarsi allo specchio, sapere di non aver fatto il proprio dovere, sentirsi sporchi, sapere di non poter passare dall'altra stanza e incrociare le tue figlie e continuare a dire loro che la vita va vissuta con rettitudine, senza abbassare lo sguardo e la schiena. E allora quello specchio ti uccide ogni giorno.
Over the next 5 years, Giuseppe Antocci will be part of the Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs Committee of the European Parliament, focusing on organized crime.
Many people think that traveling by cruise ships means they are using a more environmental friendly form of travel. But according to new research by DR News, in Europe, an average cruise ship emits approximately double as much CO2 per passenger as a plane over the same distance. Experts say even traveling by car is better.
Krydstogttrafikken har et markant højere CO2-udslip per passager, end hvis man tager bilen eller flyet. Det må man forvente, når man rejser rundt med butikker og restauranter og hoteller og med ombord. Det i sig selv gør jo, at det er helt anderledes, end hvis vi bare kører vores bil eller hvis vi tager vores fly.
Passengers arriving via cruise ship were unaware the ship emits more climate polluting gases than average.
I did not know that, so that shocks me. I thought I was choosing a boat that is more environmentally conscious.
Honestly, I did not think about that.
Experts say that significant efforts to reduce CO2 emissions depend on the shipbuilders and operators. Political initiatives could also incite companies to adopt greener practices.
Some people prefer the train, including for transporting their car. The car-carrying train, which involves loading your vehicle onto a train while you travel comfortably in a passenger wagon, still exists in Austria. The journey to Croatia from Vienna through Slovenia lasts 14 hours and guarantees a good carbon footprint.
We are from Austria, Wiener Neustadt, close to Vienna, and we go to Split by train.
The train circulates 3 times a week, but only in summer. It transported 2,500 vehicles last year, which is 4 times more than 3 years ago. Like this French expat living in Prague, 1/3 of passengers travel with their car.
Combien ça vous a coûté tout ça?
À peu près 800 €. Pour 3, avec le bébé, la voiture, l'aller-retour.
Ça fait une somme quand même.
Ça a l'air impressionnant, mais quand on enlève les 2 jours de trajet en voiture, les nuits d'hôtel pour 3, quand on fait le calcul, peut-être qu'on perd 70 €, mais ça vaut vraiment le coup, quoi.
And for many people, like these Austrian bikers, the climate crisis is a game changer.
It's not environmental friendly to drive a motorcycle, but if we can do most of the kilometers by train, it's a good.
You feel better.
After a night spent in their cabin, passengers wake up the next morning in Croatia. They just need to unload their car and off they go.
Now it's the beginning of the holidays.
Yes. No, it started in the train.
Car-carrying trains also exist in Germany, but not anymore in France, where they weren't considered profitable enough.
A state of emergency has been declared in Masara on the Greek island of Crete due to water shortages. Water reserves are constantly decreasing, and levels in the Fenermeni Dam, which supplies water and irrigation to the area, has fallen to an alarming level. Illegal pumping of water from the dam, which led to a loss of 3 million cubic meters of water, combined to low rainfall and hot weather, have created the shortage.
Υπάρχει πρόβλημα. Η ζέστη δεν υποχωρεί με τίποτα. Χειμώνα δεν ξέρουμε αν θα έχουμε. Θα είναι πολύ δύσκολα τα πράγματα.
Με την ίδρυυση.
Η ίδρυυση το παλεύει ακόμα λίγο. Καλά πάμε στην ίδρυυση ακόμη. Στην άδρυυση έχουμε προβλήματα. Αλλά θα έρθει και στην ίδρυυση το πρόβλημα. Κάποια στιγμή θα έρθει.
Είναι και θέμα παιδείας. Βλέπω και γίνεται πολλές πατάλες ακόμα. Και στα σπίτια και στους δρόμους γίνονται νερά και παντού. Τα μέτρα πρέπει να εφαρμόζονται, οι νόμοι να τηρούνται. Διαφορετικά τα πράγματα και το μέλλον δεν θα είναι καθόλου ευίωνο.
To deal with the water crisis and assure essential needs, the municipality of Phaistos imposed water restrictions on the irrigation of crops.
Έχουν μπει κάποιοι περιορισμοί, αλλά δεν μπορούν να τηρηθούν γιατί χρειάζεται περισσότερο νερό και τα 100 κυβικά που λένε αυτή ένα στρέμμα είναι μηδαμινό. Ίσα ίσα για να λένε ότι έχουμε νερό.
Phaistos also declared a state of emergency, deblocking immediate funding.